Hey, what's up guys? Jake with Legacy 4x4 here again, and today we're making a pretty cool little front bumper for my Jeepster Commando. So as you can see here, this is what we're working with. I've got the two frame rails completely bare up front here. The closest cross member is back here underneath the front grille. I do have my steering gearbox mounted up here, which you guys haven't seen. There's been a lot of small changes to the Jeep. I might do a video on all of them in a week. I'm just knocking this one out now as I'm continuing to do some small stuff and I'm waiting on parts. So we're doing this bumper because I honestly felt like fabricating something today. But as you can see here, this is the steering gearbox mounted there. We're gonna do a bumper that attaches to these two front frame rails. I'm gonna throw 2 bolts on each side over there, and then we're gonna build a small bumper that kind of mimics the rear bumper on this Jeep, and then it's gonna have a winch plate mounted right about in this area here. Let's go ahead and get started on this bumper. We're gonna start out, we gotta cut some angle iron. I'm gonna use the angle iron to mount to these bolt holes here, and then we're going to use some 2x6 over there, just like what I used in the rear of the Jeep, and then we're going to get going. All right, so we've got these bolts in. They all fit how I want them to fit. This is 1/8 inch thick 2x2 angle iron. I'm using 2 1/2-inch grade 8 bolts on each side. It's not a ton. I'm gonna try to provide some extra support elsewhere in here. I'm just kind of building this as I go. So generally what's gonna happen is these 2 bolts on both sides are gonna then hold in place this 2x2, and this 2x2 is gonna mount to a piece of that 2x6 over there, the same way that I did the rear bumper. The 2x6 is gonna have some angle cuts onto the 2 sides of it to give it a cool little like slanty slash not just a piece of tube stuck up there kind of look. And that's gonna get welded straight to these, and I'm gonna do another border on top with some extra 2x2 to provide some more rigidity and to give a place for the winch mount to come in. I'm kind of limited on how these are mounted. That's why I'm doing it like this, due to the fact, one, that the steering gearbox is all the way up here, which is where it had to be. And then also because there's not a whole lot of frame in here to work with. So I was kind of restricted just to these two bolts at just a 1/2-inch size. We're gonna have to just make it work with that. Hopefully this doesn't ever break. All right, in classic fashion, my battery died as I was going through that last little step of stuff, but here's where we are now, guys. As you can see, I've already capped these ends. I just cut exactly the same way I did the rear bumper on the Commando. I did just 3 inches down and then 3 inches over to make a 45-degree angle here. Just capped it with a piece of 14 gauge. Again, not structural, so doesn't really matter. Just did a quick cap, fully welded all of it, and then just smoothed it out with a flap disc. I did that on both sides. Now for this, just like the rear bumper, we're gonna use these Barnes 4-wheel drive. These are 1-inch thick, solid steel D-link brackets. I'm gonna use them exactly the same way I did on the rear of the Commando. They're just gonna be mounted here 1/3 of the way on each side of the bumper, which gets them pretty even with the frame rails. Mount them up perfect like this, do nice big 2 or 3 pass heavy welds on there to hold those into place. I'm doing these right now while the bumper's flat. It's just easier to do like this, and then I'll get to the rest of it, mounting it on the Jeep, and then all this sub support that we're gonna have for the winch plate. And I think those are just beautiful. Look at that. There we go. A little bit of a scuff mark from where I was just grinding off some of the splatter, but oh well, that'll be okay. All right, now time to go get this on the Jeep, make sure it's all leveled out, and we'll start tack welding some stuff in place, and then we'll start to finish up this bumper pretty quick here. All right, sorry guys, I skipped a few more steps. It was starting to rain and it's getting late here, and I do have an HOA, and I really wanted to finish this today so I can paint it tonight and let it sit and dry, and then tomorrow I can put it on the Jeep. Anyways, here's what we got. Here's gonna be the finished product for this bumper. Again, I kept the style simple. I kept it just like the rear bumper, nice plain piece of 2x6 with this nice angle cut into the side here. And then just added that winch plate back here just to make sure I had a good, strong, sturdy place to put my winch when I put one on there. So we got the winch plate like I already talked about. The part I just skipped was I added these fair lead mounts. I went with the standard 10-inch separation, 2.5 inch tall, assuming a 4.7. These are 5-inch tall, 2x2, 1/8 inch angle pieces that I then gusseted using some of my excess from this. Actually, it's these corner pieces. I just moved those gussets up here, welded the whole thing tight, smoothed it off, and then did the same kind of thing where I just capped it on here with actually a piece of 1/8 inch because I just had some on the floor. So that's that. These holes, I drilled these a little bit bigger, again, just to give me a little bit of excess. Once I throw a washer on it and a bolt through it and put the fair lead on it, it'll sit perfectly fine, but that way I can play with it. If I have to, I'll cut this or cut it here, however I have to make room for it if this isn't enough room. I'm kind of just doing the best I can, not having the winch in front of me. I just don't have buy a winch money at the moment. I've thrown all my other money at making the Jeep go parts instead of aesthetic stuff like the winch because I'm not even ready to use one yet. So that's that. Looking nice. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I did this on a whim because I just didn't feel like throwing parts on the Jeep today. As you can see behind me on the plasma table there, I got lots of parts to put on the Jeep. I just wanted to fabricate today, so I made this instead. All right, anyways, I'm gonna clean up and then we're gonna throw some paint on this and then we're gonna see what it looks like on the Jeep. All right, what's up guys? I let the paint dry overnight. Don't mind me being covered in sweat. I just went on a jog, but I wanna go ahead and shoot this for you guys so that I can go edit and I can get this posted since we're like a week behind. But here's the bumper. Kind of hard to see here. The lighting in my garage is bad right now. I'm gonna go replace the lights today, I think. But you can see how that turned out. All mutually supported in the back there with those triangular pieces of 2x6. And like I said, everything on this bumper is 3/16. So not the heaviest, but I didn't have any 1/4 inch laying around, but I had 3/16. So we used that. But all the important stuff, like the winch mount, all that kind of stuff is double layered between the 2x2 and between those little gussets and stuff. So I really don't think it's gonna go anywhere. There it is, nice, quick, easy bumper. I'm a huge fan of simple, especially when it comes to stuff like bumpers. As far as I'm concerned, that's a tool. It needs to sit there to hold 2 recovery points and a winch. Other than that, it's just a tool. I don't really want anything that's big and outrageous. I don't need all these extra lights and stuff. I just want something simple that does the job. And that right there, that's what that does. I'm hoping in 2 to 3 weeks this is running and I can start testing it, make sure everything's working fine before I go drop it off to go get painted. I hope you guys like that. Thanks for watching, and as always, like, share, and subscribe. Take care, guys.